This is TWiT.
In Chapter 5, which you title The Trap, you talk a little bit about extrinsic goals and focusing on purpose, and that resonated for me a little bit because I don't know if it's that I'm now I'm 44, so I'm firmly like in my middle age where I'm like, okay, what is my purpose? Am I living to my purpose? And I think it's a real big challenge for someone to know whether they're living in their purpose, let alone creating a business that adheres to some sort of greater purpose outside of just making money. So I don't know. I don't know if you have any advice or any thoughts on how someone in that position tackles that.
Yeah, I mean, I do actually. I mean, I think there are a number of ways. I mean, one is there's the idea, the philosophy I introduced in the book called Bentoism. Is meant to. It's a guide to self-coherence. It's a way for you to understand your values and what drives you, what you want, what it means to make a positive decision for yourself. And Bentoism is based on the concept that our self-interest isn't defined by just what we want right now, what we want and need right now, just how the world around us defines self-interest. But our self-interest is also about future me, the older version of myself that's grayed and wrinkled and made all the right choices, what they want me to do, living up to the obituary I want to have. There's also now us, or the people who rely on us and who we rely on. And there's also future us of the next generation, our children and everybody else's children too. And so these are four distinct spaces of our self-interest: now me, future me, now us, and future us. And every time we make a decision, we affect all these spaces affect us. And so the book introduces this as a framework and a structure for thinking about where value lies. And it explains how Patagonia giving away proprietary information to their competitors grows a future us value of sustainability. It's a choice in the rational self-interest, just a broader notion of self-interest than we currently define. And so I think that this notion of a Bentoist view of self-interest is part of the answer. And what I've been doing since writing the book, the levels of terror of putting the word manifesto in a book you're writing in 2019, coupled with inventing a new ism, like the lat layered on top, you're already like, I'm hanging by a single helium balloon over the Grand Canyon. And
Bentoism does have a nice ring to it, though. I will say that.
Yeah. No, it sounds like Shintoism. It's all. It's just sounded like it's classic marketing. No, but I started giving workshops in people's houses here in LA. I've done several in my house, a couple in other people's houses, where without them having any context, I sort of teach the ideas of this book, and then I teach Bentoism, and then I guide people through a process of filling out what's in their bento, of finding what their values are, and letting them practice and make decisions using that, and teaching what self-coherence is by doing that. And, I was first doing these things just sort of to gut check with myself, like how crazy is this? Like, am I insane to be doing this? And it really, really connects with people. And so I've started experimenting now at doing them as Zoom calls. And we'll be launching, by the time this goes up, it'll probably be live, bentoism.org, which is a website where you can go through a similar experience. So I'm hoping that this framework can make people feel closer to what that is for them. And can reveal what a self-coherent choice is, what acting in their values means, and even for an organization to get a real compass of like how it is we are to behave if we're to fulfill our purpose, and our values, and living up to really what our responsibilities are. Whether Bentoism itself is like the exact vehicle through which this gains ground, I believe strongly in this expansion of self-interest as being the path that lets human beings keep growing and evolving and improving without tearing it all down. And really that was the core goal behind the book. What is the optimistic case for how we evolve? What's the new knowledge we could learn that could allow us to apply the things that human beings are so great at, having huge impacts, organizing together to create things, how could that be driven in a direction that is really to our long-term benefit? And so the book is born out of a hope and a desire and a belief that that's possible, and trying to lay what I think is like the first brick in maybe a new way of thinking about the world.